William Clark's legacy will always be remembered as the Lewis and Clark expedition. However, he should also be remembered by his diplomatic and friendly relations with many of the Native American tribes in Missouri and the surrounding areas. Although William Clark owned slaves and enforced laws that hurt Native Americans, his actions with the creation of the Indian Bureau and the creation of trade acts, as well as the Lewis and Clark expedition, show that he is a clear candidate for the APUSH Hall of Fame. William Clark was born to John and Anne Rogers Clark in the small colony of Ladysmith, Virginia. His parents were planters who owned a few plantations, including slaves. Although Clark never attended school, he was tutored at home. In March of 1785, Clark and his family moved to a plantation in Kentucky. William stayed there at Mulberry Hill with his older brother George until 1803. He started his military career in 1789 at the age of 19, following in his brother's footsteps, who served in Virginia during the American Revolution. However, William was too young to join. He fought in the Northwest Indian War against the Wee Indians in Kentucky under the command of Major John Hardin. The next year, he was tasked with keeping relations with the Creek and Cherokee, starting his career in Indian affairs. William also served in the Battle of Fallen Timbers, which put an end to the Northwest Indian War. In 1803, Clark joined the Corps of Discovery on behalf of Meriwether Lewis, where he would play a pivotal role in the documentation and creation of the Louisiana Purchase, which also played a role in further expansionist beliefs. With the new land west to conquer, another outcome of the Louisiana Purchase was the friendship of Meriwether Lewis. William was appointed the title and role of a U.S. agent for Indian Affairs and was tasked with the implementation and upkeep of the factory system, which allowed Native Americans to become indebted through the purchase of goods. Then in 1813, he was appointed governorship to Missouri, where he earned the title Indian Lover due to his sympathies with Native Americans. Though he did care about them, he also believed in expansionist beliefs. However, his actions and view of Native Americans, also how they deserved rights, was revolutionary. In 1822, Clark had lost governorship but was appointed as superintendent of Indian Affairs, where he was able to form the Office of Indian Affairs and later the Bureau of Indian Affairs, where he protected tribes and implemented the creation of museums for Native American history. Clark also pushed for the passing of the Trade and Intercourse Act and Indian Recognition Act of 1834, where he would pass just 4 years later, in 1838, still as superintendent of the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Another thing to mention is Clark's actions with the Indian Removal Act by Andrew Jackson, which was non-existent. He pawned it off to Lewis Cass and issued an extermination order to the Black Hawk War tribe. He also believed in Jefferson's ideology of assimilation. However, that did not stop him from believing in rights for the Native Americans or from seeing them as subhumans. William Clark's actions with the Lewis and Clark expedition and relations with Native Americans were revolutionary for his time and helped create a social and political beliefs influencing America for decades to come.